track somehow. I'll keep moving.
My Straight Talk family, is that time when I must say good night, a very pleasant night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and a very pleasant night to the entire Caribbean region. I should say greetings to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and touch, in particular, our Kittitian and Nevision diaspora all over the world. Some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Europe. There are some of you in Asia. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. Straight Talk, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, we do have first-timers, and we do ask you each time to share the link, share the feed with your friends, your family, wherever they are. And we do have first-timers, so I'm at liberty. I will rather want to inform you, I should say, that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's, in the process, try to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable spot of number one, or as one of the freest countries in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburn, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my Straight Dog family, on yet another occasion. And we had a short break, we had a short sabbatical, short hiatus over the weekend. Many went to fly their kites, many just stayed around and absorbed the Johnny cake and saltfish and the conky, the dumpling, the breadfruit too. Hope you had a wonderful weekend in particular. We weren't here on Monday, as some of my Straight Dog family missed that announcement, and I do apologize for that. But normally on a weekend, holiday weekend in particular, we take a break, and in particular a weekend like the Easter weekend, when we were celebrating the resurrection of Almighty, resurrection of Jesus, who went and was crucified and died to save us all from our sins. And that's how it goes, my Straight Talk family. So we trust you had a wonderful weekend. I want to as well extend condolences to the Williams family, Errol and his brothers, and the mayor of Taylor's Range there, my good lady, Mrs. Prokop, and the entire Williams family who are mourning the loss of their mother. And we do extend, like I said, condolences to the entire family. Normally, our observations in review at this time is a time when we reflect on the issues, and we, in the process, we try to as well highlight the issues of importance. We ask a few questions, like we try and establish what in fact, what was accomplished and how it has helped others, and what has changed since. What has changed since we last had our conversation. And I did I say Prokop? I meant Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown, what am I saying? Mrs. Brown, Beulah Brown over there in Taylor's, the mayor of Taylor's, I call it, Lady Beulah. I'm sorry about that, on the passing of your mom and for your entire family. But we are going to reflect tonight. We are going to reflect tonight on, well, first of all, let's congratulate our character athletes who participated, all who participated, and in particular those who won medals. We had 3 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. And Kanye Samuel Francis brought home the gold for us. I think it was Bennett, and I think the other one was Thomas. But Straight Talk could not help but recognize my family. We could not help but recognize that the real Prime Minister was on hand to greet the athletes. Do you believe that? The real Prime Minister was on hand to greet the athletes, and he made this promise to the athletes.
As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I will use my office to open my ministry, to open doors for you. I will go around the world seeking investment from investors to ensure that our conditions here are better, that our stadium will continue to improve, the conditions under which you are training will improve. We will invest in our coaches because we believe in you.
I'm pondering if I was not muted in the early salutations that I brought, but again, salutations to my entire Straight Talk family. In the event I did, I extended condolences to the Williams family, and Errol and his brothers, and of course Lady Beulah Brown as well over there in the Taylor's area. We did in fact said that we congratulate the character athletes, in case we have missed that, as we embark on our observations in review. And as I said, the real Prime Minister was there and made promises to the athletes. I'm sure they're all going to hold him to that. Our second observation, though, relates to comments I made on our last episode of Straight Talk, in reference to the security detail of Prime Minister Dr. Drew. And as someone in the Straight Talk family alerted me that I miscounted. Well, I know that maths is my strongest weak point, But it was not from that perspective. We outlined that as part of the security detail for Prime Minister Drew, there are 24 bodies, soldiers and police, or police and soldiers, whichever order you want to place them in. And I was told that I missed one. It should be 25. Now, how we established the 24, he has 3 locations. There's his private residence in St. Peter's, there's a guard hut, and there are police there on duty 24/7, and perhaps rightly so, I may add. Then there's a residence he occupies intermittently, I'm told, in the Half Moon Bay area. And that's 8 more, that's 16. And then he is, remember, he commandeered the residence of the Eastern Caribbean High Court judge, and he's now using it as his, or the Prime Minister's residence, I believe. And there is as well a security detail that would bring us 24. So I got this call from someone who knows and says, no, it's not 24, it's 25, because his son as well has his own security detail, my straight dog family, and his son is being guarded, so to speak, 24/7 by another officer. So it's 25 total. And then he had his cabinet colleagues with 16 all told. Then that takes the Prime Minister and his cabinet security detail to 41 persons to be exact, my straight talk family. Now, our third observation, and while we await advice from the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association, in the meanwhile, I've been receiving quite a lot of calls from several citizens of this country from different walks of life, I may add. And they have expressed their disgust about a Facebook post on the Attorney General Garth Lucian Wilkins' Facebook page, bragging about his piloting of legislation thus far. And what seems to anger quite a lot of people is the braggadocio approach about his piloting integrity legislation. And the view is that Garth Lucian Wilkins has no moral authority to speak about integrity, because it cannot be overstated that the Attorney General continues to behave as though he is beyond reproach. When he failed to clean up his own backyard, the Attorney General may not be a convicted criminal, but he is a self-confessed one. The independent opinion of the court or the judge is pellucid, because the court found that he broke the law, and that he broke the law repeatedly. The court also found that a social security payment after the time prescribed by the legislation constitutes a criminal offense, whether or not the law is strictly enforced. And those offenses carry penalties, which include fines and periods of incarceration, periods of jail, or both. Garth Lucian Wilkins, in his affidavit, stated that despite the long periods of not paying and the offenses they represented, the Social Security Board never wrote to him demanding payment. But there are only two reasons possible Why did they not write to him? One, he's a Wilkin, a privileged kid. And two, he is the Attorney General. But the Attorney General is not above the law. And if those 54 employers are still before the court, then Garth Lucian Wilkin, I contend, and the man should be number 55. But he comes from the privileged class in St. Kitts. The facts are, and people know, and we won't stop saying it until he comes to the public and says something. The Prime Minister said he'll face the media. But no, he's not going to sneak back around with his Facebook page and talking about what he has done, because he broke the law.
It's a legal matter. He broke the law. And do we realize what would have happened had that lady gotten sick and go to seek social assistance? How could that be right? It is a legal matter, and I expect the Prime Minister to approach and speak about the matter. It is a matter that has to do with social security. That woman's right was infringed on. And that's not right. And it's somebody who could afford to pay. It's somebody who doesn't have to go under the payments. He has persons in office that he can just say, listen, make the social security payment. You lapsed once, you lapsed twice, you lapsed 3 times. Are you telling me this gentleman has any intention of paying that social security consistently? This is the Attorney General. If he's breaking the law continually, how is he going to correct persons who are breaking the law?
And we are not going to stop until we get this right. The Prime Minister said that he would come before the media, and that was just to distract us. And that's why we hear sentiments from different people like this one, my Straight Talk family. We hear these sort of sentiments, which it shouldn't be difficult to concur.
You see this thing, everybody's speaking about the Attorney General. I think, hey, there was a case. He been to the court. You know what I'm saying? He lost the case. I can't defend him. He won. He won. You know what I'm saying? The Prime Minister should have come out and really said something about it. But you see, to me, I'll tell you plain up, straight up, the damn island is corrupt. We got a damn corrupt island. Every one of them. Don't care who they be, whether it's whoever. The island is corrupt. And the people them got to see that and clean it up. The ombudsman, he corrupt too. I'm telling you, sorry about it. The damn thing is upside down, Lee. Have a good day. Bye.
My Straight Talk family, that is what's happening. As someone said to me yesterday, when I was on my walk, he said, Patch is Abba, not better than Saba. And my final and fourth observation relates to the Poverty Alleviation Program. We have spoken about that program at length. We have highlighted the fact that thousands of poor persons have been displaced from that program. And my Straight Talk family, I caught up today with a young lady and who is desperate to tell her story. She wanted to join me tonight on the program, and she was not afraid to speak out. Well, I did say to her she should remain anonymous. But all I can say is that this young lady is crying out for help. She has a young child, cannot walk, I'm told. She has no job. They have taken her off the step, and they have taken her off the PAP. And all we are asking the Prime Minister or his deputy is please help my Straight Talk family. Those are my observations in review for tonight. And I will hasten to move right into my dissertation, my thesis, which I have entitled Two Constitutional Assemblies, but One Ornamental Opposition Leader. Two constitutional assemblies, but one opposition leader. One ornamental opposition leader, I may said. And that individual who is trying to call the numbers for the program are 663, by the way, 6672. They are 663, 6672. And the overseas line is 646-829-6672. We do include your calls, we do include your emails as well, and the email address is straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. But again, the local number nonetheless is 663-6672, my Straight Talk family. But I was saying, before we move to that, is that we do have my Straight Talk family. I've been getting this call. Please, callers, be with me. I know. I promise that I will open up to this lady who wants to have a chat about the PAP, and I'm quite willing to. I'm quite willing to entertain her. And please, if it's a WhatsApp call, please try the overseas line if it's a WhatsApp call. If not, please call direct 663-6672. But my Straight Talk family, I have entitled my dissertation tonight, Two Constitutional Assemblies, but One Ornamental Opposition Leader. Now, the state of our democracy in St. Kitts and Nevis, simply put, leaves a lot to be desired, to use colloquial language. Many of us, I know, have never stopped to think that Little St. Kitts and Nevis, not St. Kitts, Little St. Kitts and Nevis is governed directly by the National Assembly. And this is stipulated by the 1983 Constitution. Chapter 4 of our Constitution, which deals with the Parliament, Part 1, it speaks to the composition of Parliament. And Section 25 speaks to its establishment and states that there shall be for St. Christopher and Nevis a Parliament which shall consist of Her Majesty and a National Assembly. Now, the National Assembly of Section 26 tells us how the National Assembly shall consist in terms of numbers and or numbers of representatives, I should say. On the other hand, Nevis has its own legislature, its own assembly, and an island administration. As a matter of fact, Section 100 of the Constitution captioned Nevis Island Legislature reads, and I quote, "There shall be a legislature for the island of Nevis, which shall be styled the Nevis Island Legislature, and shall consist of Her Majesty and an Assembly, styled the Nevis Island Assembly. So you see the two assemblies, the Nevis Island Assembly and the National Assembly. Now, there's a view in some political quarters and beyond that the federal elections are held every 5 years to elect a government for St. Kitts, whereas the local elections in Nevis are held every 4 years to elect a government for Nevis. Truth be told, my Stray Dog family, the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis is rather unusual in that it provides Nevis with a great deal of autonomy and contains a provision allowing Nevis to secede should a two-thirds majority of the island citizens vote for secession. Recall in 1998, a referendum failed to achieve the required two-thirds majority for independence. And I believe that the Commonwealth team that was present here made recommendations. I don't know if the recommendations were implemented or what is the disposition thereafter of the recommendations by the Commonwealth team that was present. But the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis is unique in that it creates a federation not between St. Kitts and Nevis. No, it creates a federation between Nevis and the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. You see how unique our Constitution is? It provides for the establishment of a unicameral legislature known as the National Assembly, which is empowered to make laws impacting Nevis, but they are restricted by Section 37 and Chapter 10. And Section 37 relates or speaks to the power to make laws. And it says, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, Parliament may make laws for peace, order, and government of St. Christopher and Nevis, save, and subsection 2, as otherwise provided in subsections 3 and 4. The power of Parliament to make laws having effect in the island of Nevis shall not extend to any of the specified matters. That is to say, matters with respect to which Nevis or the Nevis Island Legislature has exclusive power to make laws so having effect. It continues at any time when there is in force a declaration made by the Governor General by proclamation that any provisions of any law enacted by Parliament specified in that declaration, being provisions that relate to a specified matter, are required to have effect on the island of Nevis. A, in the interest of external affairs, or B, in the interest of defense. So those provisions shall accordingly have effect in the island of Nevis, and if there is any inconsistency between those provisions and the provisions of any law enacted by the Nevis Island Legislature or Assembly, the provisions of the law enacted by the Parliament shall prevail. And that's very clear in our Constitution. But Section 58 takes me to the point where I want to actually go. And Section 58 of the Constitution speaks to the leader of the opposition. And it states, and I quote, subsection 1 of Section 58, there shall be, except at times when no representative is eligible for appointment be a leader of the opposition in the National Assembly who shall be appointed by the Governor General. And where there is occasion for the appointment of a leader of the opposition, the Governor General shall appoint the representative who appears to him or her most likely to command the support of the majority of representatives. My Straight Talk family, that is clear and straightforward. The opposition in Parliament, I'll hasten to add, is a necessary and indispensable component of democracy. I repeat that. The opposition in the National Assembly or the Nevis Island Assembly, I refer to both, I said two assemblies, is a necessary and indispensable component of democracy. For it to be effective, however, the government and society at large must accept the essentials of parliamentary democracy. What are the functions of an opposition? The prime function of the opposition is to offer a credible alternative to the incumbent, to the majority in power, you may add. Moreover, by overseeing and criticizing the action of the government, it works to ensure transparency, integrity, and efficiency in the conduct of public affairs and to prevent abuses by the authorities and individuals, thereby ensuring the defense of the public interest. And we have already seen in the last 8 months all sorts and kinds of abuses. We've seen victimization at all levels. It seems as though the incumbent is promoting the view that only 50% or the percentage that represent them are the ones that should be employed. They must only utilize 50% of the human resources of the country. And if you are perceived not to be in support of the incumbent, then you must beg bread. Now, my Straight Talk family, it is expected that there would be intergovernmental relations between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration. That is expected. So one would expect that the Premier and the Prime Minister would be in direct contact on a regular basis and on issues of national significance and on those functions not devolved to the Nevis Island Assembly, such as policing, public safety, and law and order, and of course external affairs or foreign affairs. And I believe that is why the late Premier Vance Winkworth Amory, he yielded the position of the leader of the opposition to the late Malcolm Gishard in 2000 or 2004, thereabout. When Malcolm Gishard died in 2007, may his soul rest in peace, Premier Amory yielded the same opposition leader position to Mark Brantley. But in 2022, Mark Brantley is now Premier of Nevis, and he grabs on to the position of leader of the opposition. Mark my words, he grabs on to the position of leader of the opposition. And my straight dog family, recall, Mark Brantley supported Sean Richards for Prime Minister. Months before that, Mark supported Sean for Prime Minister. Remember this?
I have had discussions with the Honorable Sean Richards. We would have undertaken this last election as a one movement construct. We had committed that the Honorable Sean Richards would be supported as Prime Minister. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
So he committed to support Sean Richards for Prime Minister. So why Mark Brantley could not support or did not support Sean Richards for leader of the opposition? That is not any scientific question. And that is a question that many are still asking. And he tries to mamaguy the country by giving the impression, he meaning Mark Brantley, tries to mamaguy the country by giving the impression that there was no consultation. There was no consultation, and the Governor General, Satapli, just prepared an instrument and sent it to Mark Brantley, and that was that. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. He tries to mamaguy us by telling us this, my straight dog family.
I have been named by instrument dated, yes, the 10th of October. I was appointed leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, and certainly look forward to taking up that position in the National Assembly. It is in some ways interesting because I started my parliamentary life on the opposition benches as leader of the opposition back in 2007. And here we are, 15 years later, and I have returned to be leader of the opposition again in the national parliament. And that perhaps is as it should be. My intention is to fight as I've always fought for the people of Nevis. To say to them that the people of Nevis deserve to be treated equally, deserve their fair share of the resources of the Federation, and deserve the full fruits of their citizenship.
And you heard him. And perhaps that is how it should be. But whether we want to accept that or not, I submit that until we amend this PAM NRP political expedient constitution, nothing will change. And yes, I'm standing on my truth. The estimates approved in the federal parliament or the National Assembly, for example, seek authorization to spend money on send kits, save and accept for security and foreign affairs. The Constitution says external affairs, but that's what the estimates are about. And Mark Brantley, as the Premier, has run Nevis under his stewardship up to a public debt of $500 million. It seems as if he wants to have a comparative analysis with the civil service. He wants to have the same amount of civil servants, it seems, on Nevis as there are in St. Kitts. And he can't pay them. So he has to depend on Jew to try to pay his over $100 million, near $9 million per month on his civil service. My straight dog family, I submit. Mark Brantley, as leader of the opposition, has no interest whatsoever in building a new Basti High School. He has an interest in Nevis. He has no interest in building houses for poor people in St. Kitts. No interest in a reliable water supply in St. Kitts. As a matter of fact, Mark Brantley tried to appropriate for Nevis the desalination plant from the United Arab Emirates, which was earmarked for St. Kitts. And when he was caught as the Minister of Foreign Affairs and told that his letter or any decision must come from the federal ministry, then he was exposed. With respect to geothermal, we had agreed as a cabinet, and Premier Amri, may his soul rest in peace, said to the Caribbean Development Bank that both geothermal projects, one on St. Kitts and one on Nevis, will complement each other. Since we had agreed that once we establish the thermal resource on St. Kitts, we will develop that resource without retarding the progress on Nevis. All of a sudden, Drew is being fooled by Mark or somebody and is now touting the fact, or not the fact, the fiction, that the geothermal resource on Nevis is a national asset. A national what? Since when? And how? And what agreement has been signed by the federal government and the Nevis Island Administration? I heard the Minister of Sustainable Development who said this, and I quote, "Any resources that are present in Nevis will be included in our federal resources. We must make sure that the relationship endures, and that when it comes to geothermal energy, St. Kitts and Nevis is regarded as a single federal state and a single nation." If the CDB or the IDB demanded a guarantee from the federal government for the NIA loan of US $16 million for the drilling of production wells on Nevis, Drew, as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, must pass the appropriate resolution in the National Assembly to get that approval, if he has not done so as yet. Unless Straight Talk missed that legal procedure, it must be done forthwith, and stop chatting nonsense about signing some letter and geothermal on Nevis is now a national asset. The Constitution is very clear and reads at section 70, cited withdrawals from the consolidated fund or other public funds. Subsection 1 reads, "No monies shall be withdrawn from the consolidated fund except A, to meet expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this Constitution or by any law enacted by Parliament, or where the issue of those monies has been authorized by an appropriation law or by a law made in pursuance of section 72. And subsection 3 is interesting, and it reads, and I quote, "No monies shall be withdrawn from any public fund of the government under other, than the consolidated fund, unless the issue of those monies has been authorized by or under any law." So where did Drew get his authority from to spend or commit US $16 million of the people's money? Mark Brantley confessed, my Straight Dog family, that he supported the peace program. Another example. This is what he said.
The peace program We have all supported it. We continue to support the program. We see the transformation that the program has caused in terms of our numbers, in terms of violent crime. We voted for and support that program.
Yes, my Stray Dog family, he said he supported the peace program. Let's just believe him for a moment. He saw the transformation, he said, of the crime situation. But he sits on the opposition bench and to this date has said not one word to the contrary, while Dr. Drew mashes up the peace program. But you see, my Stray Dog family, there is only one homicide in Nevis for the past 4 months, and 8 here on St. Kitts, regrettably. So Mark ain't care about that. He is an ornamental opposition leader in St. Kitts. For him, it sounds and looks attractive to be opposition leader or leader of Her Majesty's opposition, loyal opposition as it is said. And no doubt gets a bigger parliamentary salary. And who knows, he probably done ask Dr. Drew for an office in St. Kitts. He enjoys himself as premier without an opposition leader in Nevis at the meantime. And God forbid, my Stray Dog family, Mark Brantley would like to be Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis and Premier of Nevis. Why can't he give up the opposition leader to Tim Harris, the most senior celebrated politician on the opposition bench, if he doesn't want to give Sean Richards? But as the leader of the opposition in the National Assembly, think about it. He has not said one word about the poverty alleviation program, while Jeffrey Hanley and Dr. Drew knock about poor people in St. Kitts. Meanwhile, we heard the news today about Burna Boy will be in St. Kitts for the 2023 Music Fest. According to the news and the research we have done, Burna Boy is a celebrity and has to be paid and provided US $500,000 or Eastern Caribbean dollars 1.35 million. A 13-seater private Challenger jet, a convoy of 5 vehicles, a Sprinter bus, a van, and 3 SUVs. He must have a smoking executive suite, 2 junior suites, 1 deluxe king room, and 6 double standard rooms with big mirrors. That's his request. He must have jollof rice, plantain, 4 options of fried fish, sea bass, salmon, amongst others, chicken, fried yam, seafood, and salad. In his dressing room, Burna Boy should at all times have 12 bottles of spring water, 8 ginger ales, 6 Sprite, 6 Pepsi sodas, fresh grapes, strawberries, pineapples, mangoes, watermelons, 3 bottles of Veuve Clicquot champagne, and 1 bottle each of Hennessy XO cognac, Jack Daniel's whiskey, white wine, preferably a Chardonnay or Chablis, 6 black face towels, and 4 black bath towels. But that does not mean a thing to the ornamental leader of the opposition, Mark Brantley, because he will be at the music festival knocking glass with Dr. Joe. Douglas ain't gonna knock glass with Mark for sure. I know that. Douglas won't knock glass with Mark because Mark spent his political career fighting the Douglas Labour Party.
In my own country, I've spent a political career fighting against the Sinkers Nevis Labour Party.
So Douglas ain't gonna knock glass with him. My straight dog family, as I close, let us think wisely. Let us think clearly. The opposition in the National Assembly has a duty to offer us, we as voters, a credible alternative to the government in office to make it accountable. The opposition in the National Assembly, for it to be a credible alternative, however, it must also be ready to exercise the responsibilities to which it aspires on a lasting basis. The opposition, in other words, must have a program which is ready to be implemented. In a democracy, political life is enriched by free competition of political programs and ideas. It is impoverished and dysfunctional by rivalry based on the personal ambitions of Mark Brantley. And this disqualifies him in the eyes of public opinion to be the leader of Her Majesty's loyal opposition. For that reason, we have two constitutional assemblies. And I may add, there's no opposition in Nevis for obvious reasons. But we have two constitutional assemblies and only one ornamental opposition leader. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. But I'll open the lines, my straight dog family, and entertain your calls and your emails. Just remember, the numbers are 646-829-6672 and or 869-663-6672. Our email address is straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. And I want to implore you, though, that when I open the lines, and I'll do so any moment now, when I open the lines, I anticipate that you will respect others. And my Church Dog family, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And my straight dog family, we anticipate that the things you say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. There's someone trying to call my number, my cell number. You cannot get onto the program if you call my personal cell number. The numbers for the program, again, are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. 829-6672. Only the 646-829-6672 allows you access to our WhatsApp. But if you want to get to the program again locally, 663-6672 at 3 before 9 o'clock. I go to the lines, call you live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
How are you? Hello?
I am peaceful, my brother. What about yourself?
Oh, well, radical culture is peaceful too, brother. I'm happy to have you and your program because I look forward to this here every day. But it's not so. It's only tonight's in a week. Turn on that thing, you please. Turn it on. Wait. But sorry about that. But Patrick, I want to start first. Our Constitution, it needs to be thrown in a volcano because it is set up for one to have advantage over the other, and that is not fair. Everything should be balanced, 50-50. Enough of that. This man who call himself opposition leader, he is no opposition leader. He only is carrying the name, but his actions far from being the opposition leader. Because all that you read out tonight, what he is doing, it is so obvious that even people who blind could see what he's doing. He's an opportunist, not for the Federation of Nevis. He's an opportunist for himself to be the big name as opposition leader. How could he be the premier of Nevis and still be the opposition leader of the Federation of Nevis? But yet still, everywhere the leader of the government goes, which is Dr. Joe. He behind Dr. Joe like he bum pocket. He not representing the Federation as a leader. He's not doing it. Before election, he was talking every day about geothermal for Nevis. But he don't know Nevis, fair share for Nevis. But he don't know Nevis, they ain't get the fair share yet and they still want it. That is because he was trying to mammogram everybody in Nevis. But the people of Nevis are seeing what he's up to. And see what he do with Sean. Before he speak to Sean as a more experienced political leader and tell Sean the right way to go is this way and not which way you're going. Don't study with people who come around to try to mash up the unity. But his thing was that he gonna mash up the unity and then he would be in a better position to become prime minister of the country. But it can't happen, not with he. Now he got 2 jobs and he controlled the Nevis. But why he never said, well, by Sean, I am one who helped to lead you astray. So let me give you a job in Nevis. And you could go up and come down if you want every day. No, he don't have no concern about that. All he has about is himself. And I'm so glad that the Minister of Foreign Affairs expose him with what you said he tried to get for Nevis. I'm so glad for that. But Patches, I have more to say. And I will deal with the situation them tonight here. Who don't want to call it that is their business. But anyway, let me say this. If a person falling in a hole, and the only thing I have with them is the cell phone, and nobody know that they're in the hole, because nobody expect them and nobody pass there, well then they cannot be anonymous. They have to talk on the phone and tell with the world where they are and they need help. So let the lady who is suffering because they take away the assistance that she was getting under the federal TV unity government. Let her don't be anonymous. Let her speak. Let everybody know how wicked this leader here we got here, this Mickey Mouse leader, taking away people livelihood. all because of wickedness and grudge. You don't have to do that. The farmer government put it in place to help people, and a lot of people's lives has been saved from starvation because of that, and now he can take it away? No. Patches, if you have a dog, them especially special breed dog, and you put down the bowl of food and he start to eat, while he head in the bowl, don't move the bowl. Otherwise he gonna bite you. And that is what you do to the country. Take away the food for people while they were eating, and now everybody bawling and moaning, especially them who went to vote for him. But get rid of them. You see what you do? He get rid of you. But sorry got to happen, but Patches, more things will happen what we don't want to happen in St. Kitts because of how they're treating the country. I'll be back, Patches. Thank you.
Thanks for your intervention, my dear brother. Again, there's someone trying to access my local number 663-6672 via WhatsApp. For some reason, I'm not accessing that number via WhatsApp. Again, if you want to access the program via WhatsApp, please dial 646-829-6672. That's the only number at present that you can access the program via WhatsApp. Please do not try to dial the local number 663 via WhatsApp. That is just not going to work tonight. So let's avoid the futile attempts and dial the overseas number. You can access the overseas number 646-829-6672 via WhatsApp. It's no cost to you for that. So try that number, please, and stop calling the other one, my Straight Talk family. It's now 9:04, my Straight Talk family. We are looking at our two constitutional assemblies, the Nevis Island Assembly and the National Assembly. But there's one ornamental opposition leader. And I say ornamental opposition leader because this opposition leader doesn't care what happens in St. Kitts. All he cares about is Nevis. And he said so. He said so in no uncertain terms. And my family, he tried to mamagay us as though the position was forced upon him. No. How is it the late Vance Amory refused it and gave it to his colleague back then, the late Malcolm Gishard? Why he couldn't be the same? He can say he supported Sean Richards. He supported him for Prime Minister. He said this.
I have had discussions with the Honorable Sean Richards. We would have undertaken this last election as a one movement construct. We had committed that the Honorable Sean Richards would be supported as Prime Minister. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Well, if he was going to support him as Prime Minister, why not? Opposition leader. What you care about St. Kitts? Absolutely nothing. You said so yourself. You said so, Mark Brantley, that your mission is to see about Nevis. And we can't be mad with you about that. We can't be mad with you because you are the Premier of Nevis. But what about St. Kitts? Who will represent us in Parliament? Nobody?
I have been named by instrument dated, yes, the 10th of October. I was appointed leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, and certainly look forward to taking up that position in the National Assembly. It is in some ways interesting because I started my parliamentary life on the opposition benches as leader of the opposition back in 2007, and here we are 15 years later, and I have returned to be leader of the opposition again in the national parliament. And that perhaps is as it should be. My intention is to fight as I've always fought for the people of Nevis. To say to them that the people of Nevis deserve to be treated equally, deserve their fair share of the resources of the Federation, and deserve the full fruits of their citizenship.
My straight dog family, yes, about Nevis. I heard the other day Patches read this email that Premier Brantley has received another doctorate from the University of the West Indies. Nevisians seemingly do not recognize these so-called honorary titles bestowed on the Premier as genuine and are asking irrelevant questions. What has he done so great and outstanding that merited him these awards? It just seems useless to me, this email continues, for no one except his cabinet colleagues, Eric Evelyn, referred to him as Dr. Brantley, which seems like a mockery. It is Mark, that emanates from the voice of Nevisians. Not a modicum of respect are given to these so-called doctorates by the public, whereas you would hear Drs. Harris, Douglas, and Dr. Drew. All you're hearing is Mark all the time. Something does not sound right to me. Mr. Liebert reads this email. This other email reads, my straight dog family, Bishop Ombudsman, congratulations on your appointment, reads this email. And I trust you will deliver, it continues, on the promises you made on the various radio stations. Example, that you would resign if the authorities fail to honor your reported submission, etc., etc. You see, Bishop, there has been a long song and dance by the government that for 7 years there has not been an ombudsman. While that may be so, let them say why. The first ombudsman to hold the post was Mr. Walford Gums, a former Labour Speaker of the Parliament, a robust, vocal Labour politician, and a one-time president of the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labour Union. He held that post for approximately 8 years, and Gums would tell you that he investigated many serious and troubling cases, and when he remitted his report and recommendations to his Labour Party government to take the appropriate actions, they ignored him. And so he was just getting his fat salary for wasting time and energy. So Team Unity government came to the office in 2015. Gums demitted the office of Ombudsman. Therefore, I will challenge anyone, including the editorial in the Observer newspaper 2 weeks ago, to tell me the disparity of a paid dysfunctional ombudsman from 2007 to 2015 under Labour, and leaving the post vacant for 7 years under Team Unity. The only difference I see is that Team Unity was able to save the Treasury and taxpayers thousands of dollars in salaries. Many of us will be waiting with bated breath to see if the good bishop will make a difference. Patches, I wish him well, reads that email. My straight dog family, it's 11 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. If you have just joined us, we are looking tonight at the 2 constitutional assemblies, but in fact, there is one ornamental opposition leader. We know there is no opposition leader appointed in Nevis for reasons that we have exhausted so many times. The two ladies on the opposition bench cannot support each other. One, as a matter of fact, since then has gone independent. Something, though, seems a little bit odd, that you'll have, because of such reason, you'll have an assembly or a parliament or legislature without opposition or an opposition leader. But that's the way it is in the Nevis. But I'm sure we'll all agree that an opposition in parliament is absolutely necessary and is an indispensable component in any democracy. For it to be effective, however, the government and society at large must accept the essentials of parliamentary democracy. The primary function of the opposition is to offer a credible alternative to the majority in power. Moreover, by overseeing and criticizing the action of the government, and when we say criticizing, we mean objectively criticizing the action of the government, it works to ensure transparency, integrity, and my straight talk family, efficiency and conduct in the business of in the conduct of public affairs and to prevent abuses. I really can't see how often I can say this, that the local number, my straight dog family, is not accepting 6672 is not accepting WhatsApp calls. WhatsApp calls are being accepted on 646-829-6672. That is so elementary and clear. It won't cost you nothing if you call WhatsApp this number 646-829-6672 for those who are trying to access me or access the program via WhatsApp. Again, if you call the local number, you have to dial a local call, which is 663-6672. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Good night.
Yes, good night.
Good night, sir, and how are you?
I am peaceful. I'm happy that you at least followed the request to call the overseas line by WhatsApp. You are live.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I was trying to get in all the time, but I'm so actually glad I get into this program.
Thank you. My pleasure. What's on your mind?
Well, I have something to really talk about what's really bugging me for a while, sir. I was on the PAP for a while, and they actually threw me off the PAP like no reason, for no reason. Which I'm a single mother. I have 2 kids. I have a son. He is in a wheelchair, bound in a wheelchair, and I'm a single mother. So I was working daily to feed my kids them. Basically, what I wanted to say, they threw me off the PEP. So I went down and I asked them, what is the reason why I am being thrown off the PEP? Because I have a son who is sick and he needed help. So I have a loan to pay for him. I have to pay my bills. I have my house rent to pay. And they just throw me off the PEP like that. So, they don't have a reason. So I said to them, well, can you place me somewhere? They said they don't have anywhere to place me at this present moment. So I said, why you guys don't have anywhere to place me at this present moment? Miss Evelyn said to me, we don't have anywhere to place you. So can you find something to do? And then we will assist you. Sir, I do that about 3 times. Actually find something to do and went into the office to Miss Evelyn and her assistant. And every time I go to that office, sir, to get assistance, they turn me down. It's like I was there sitting down for hours one day. For hours. When I go into the office, it's like every time I go, it's like I don't have nowhere to place you. Even though I take in the letter to them and I ask them to place me somewhere. When I go back, they're still telling me that well, they ain't find nowhere yet. They sign off this program because basically they don't want to give me the work. So I said to Miss Evelyn one day, well, I'm going to say this to you. I have a son to feed and I'm not working and I definitely have bills to pay. So I would like you guys to assist me back on the program. Basically, I called the minister. I tried to reach to the minister. I tried to call the prime minister. And it's like I get turned down in every situation, sir. You understand? And as a single mother, I am just like, this country is just for one set of people. It's not helping the poor. They don't even care about nobody, sir. You understand? Miss Evelyn down there, at the pub, she doing as she like. She treating people like there is dogs. Are they actually coming down there to beg her for a job or whatever? How can you just try a single mother like this, have the pep like this, and come telling me that they don't have anywhere to place me? Eh? I take in a letter 3 times to them, and when I take in the letter, the guy actually signed the letter that where I want to go. And when I actually signed the letter, because I went to what a place name again? I forgot what a place name is. I went there because I wasn't getting assistance that I want to. And I went to Labor Department for them because I definitely went to Labor Department for them, sir. They have a team. They're spiting me to take away the little work that I have to make me daily bread, feed my children them, and pay me bills. Right now I have bills to pay, I have a loan to pay for him, and it's like I'm not getting in nothing. I went to Mr. Maynard many times, and up to now, Mr. Maynard ain't even tried to help me. I messaged him, he messaged me one time, and he said he's in a meeting, and I'm going to talk as a single parent because it's like a lot of things going on in St. Kitts right now, and it's like, this is so wrong. That how they're treating people, especially at that pub, how they're treating people like dogs. You're going down there, you go to ask Miss Evelyn, it's like they have you out there sitting down for hours, sir. And when you look, she don't want to even talk to you. Mr. Crivey, I'm going to say it again, Mr. Crivey, I go down there, and because what I tell them that what they're doing, they're wrong. It's like every time I come up here is a problem. They don't want to assist me with the work. It's like they're turning me down, and I could have said they're turning me down all the time. So I just want them to just stop and just look for everybody. The country is not one set of people. It's for everybody. They feel like the country is just labor alone, but it's just for everybody. You have to help everybody in this situation. Because as a single parent, and it's not... Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I feel your pain. But let me ask you...
I'm serious. I'm very painful right now. Yes, sir.
You seem to be into mixing pip and pap. Is it you're speaking to the step? Is it step?
Yes, sir.
The step.
Yes, the step. Okay, yes.
So you were actually on the step program, and you had a job.
Yes, sir.
What was the nature of the job?
The nature of the job, I was working with a former minister. And it's like I was there working, and it's just like they throw me off the pep for no reason. Okay. Just for no reason. And I just wanted to know why. It's like I'm not getting no assistance to actually get back to work. I definitely asked them to place me somewhere. The words out of their mouth, there was like, I don't have anywhere to place you.
So you actually benefited from the PAP as well?
Yes, sir.
That's the $500 allowance?
Oh, the $500. Oh, no, sorry, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, Richard, I was getting that. I was getting that to help my son because Richard, I said I have a son actually in a wheelchair. I was getting that to help my son. Long time ago, I re-registered for the $500, sir. But what happens, sir? When I register, a mistake has been made on that paper, and since about February, I am trying to get that mistake corrected. I've been to the minister, to his secretary. I went and I talked to Congress about it. I called everybody, and it's like nobody seems to even look at that, sir, to help me and my son. You understand?
And
You can't be taking bread out of people's mouth like that, sir. It's really wrong.
And they are aware that your son is in a wheelchair, you said?
Yes, sir, they are aware. Everybody knows that, from the Prime Minister to everybody. And I am going to talk about it now, because I called the Prime Minister one day concerning about my situation. I am not working. And that Prime Minister of this country, he actually hung up his phone on me. He actually clipped that phone off on me 3 times. And someone was here sitting down. They said, "That's the Prime Minister of our country?" And I said, "Yes. Yes, sir. That's the Prime Minister of our country." Actually pressed off his phone after me. I went and I spoke to Jeffrey's secretary about this situation, that they take away the $500 from me for no reason. And I have a sick son who have to buy this for him, have to buy that for him, and no money coming in to pay Hasford courts. Nobody. So it's very sad. I'm trying to get to work to even help, because it's so hard right now. It's like nobody helping you. You want to everybody. I mean, Mr. Maynard, I reached out to Mr. Maynard about 100 times, and up to now, Mr. Maynard has not reached back out to me as yet. The last time Mr. Maynard messaged me, he told me he was in a meeting, but it seemed like the meeting has not finished as yet. And I have to talk out my view, because I'm very hurt now to see they actually take me off of my work, and it's like no money coming in to pay my bills, no money coming in to look for my sick child, and no money coming in to do nothing. You understand? So a woman like me now, what I'm supposed to do? It's like it's very frustrated right now. If you hear me say so, it is frustrated, so. And they have to reach out to people and stop treating people this way. They have to stop treating people this way. They have to treat everybody fairly. And I hope Mr. Joe is listening. And I hope all of them is listening, because I don't say I have to come on the radio and talk about this situation. It is sad. They take away the $500 from me for no reason. They take away my work for no reason. I was speaking to a young man, a strong young man who is working, and he telling me he's getting the $500. So what is the situation with you? You understand, sir? It's really ridiculous. Ridiculous. They have to stop treating people. So I tell you, sir, I reached to all of them, all the ministers I tried to call. They see the phone, they ring out the online, and up to now they would not pick up the phone and say, "Miss Rose, what you want? What's the situation? What it is?" Nobody reaching out to me at all. And they have to stop that. Nobody. Come on, Miss Evelyn, take a walk from me for no reason. A walk for no reason. I have a child to feed. I have kids. I have bills to pay. And she actually take a walk from a single parent who is not working. What I'm supposed to do? Go on a poll or something? That's what I'm supposed to do, because it's ridiculous. And I hope she listening and she hearing me. Okay. She hearing what I say. She and Chloe, all of them down there at that PEP office, they treat people like dogs, and they feel they could talk to people how they want. They need to go. They need to. It's ridiculous. Eh? Okay. Firing people left, right, and center. Come on, how can you fire somebody and you're eating bread? How do you feel like the other person ain't eating bread? Eh? People want things. People have to work to make the daily end. They have to do that. It's ridiculous, and it's really bugging me, because I wake up morning by morning and ain't working. I have bills to pay and I have ends to meet, and I cannot meet my ends because they take away the little work from me. I definitely ask them, please, to place me somewhere. They're going to tell me they ain't have no way to place me, you know?
Okay,
somebody in that office actually said to me, so let me say this last thing. Somebody in that office actually said to me, "Miss Evelyn, every time you come down here, Miss Evelyn ain't want to give you the work. That's why she all time hiding when you come down there. She is like, because they want to throw you off the PEP." That's exactly what the person said to me in that office. You understand, sir?
Yes, I feel your pain, my dear.
Trust me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. What? Yeah, I'm on the phone. Yes, so they need to stop doing what they're doing and treat everybody the same way. Okay, what? Okay. And treat everybody the same way, sir.
I take it.
They need to stop.
We heard you loud and clear. I took a lot of courage.
Yes, I know they heard me loud and clear. They need to stop. Actually, throw me off like nothing and ain't consider nothing. Take $500 from me for no reason. How can a single mother live like that and they know the situation? Mr. Joe, Congress, especially Congress, all of them know the situation because I reached out to Congress 101 times. I don't know the situation.
Okay, I will speak to the minister myself, my representative and deputy prime minister, Jeffrey Hanley. I will
Yes,
call
sir.
him directly and see if he can intervene. It took some courage for you to call on the program tonight, but I feel your pain. You almost brought water to my eyes, And
Everybody feel my pain because it's ridiculous.
Yes.
It is ridiculous what they're dealing with down there. Actually, trying to have people for no reason and trying to get a walk. And up to now, nobody doing nothing. I have bills to pay. I have this to do. I have that to do. And nobody doing nothing. The situation is really rough. And they have to stop treating people like people is some kind of dog or something. They have to look for the country and look for the country good. I don't care who in from who out, but look for this country.
Yes. Yes.
Hold on, this country is a mess right now.
Thanks.
Right now, the country is in a mess.
Thanks for calling, my dear. As I said, I will try
Yes.
and reach out to you, and I'll try and reach out to I'll try and reach out to the deputy prime minister as well.
Thank you. This country's in a mess. My child is very sick now, and it's only me one, and they take my little walk ride from me and come telling me they don't have anywhere to place me. How can you tell a single mother you don't have nowhere to place her? And when you place him, Tom, Dick, Harry, all over, all kind of me, only certain set of people could place somewhere. How come? That is ridiculous, and they need to get down and look at that.
Okay, thanks for calling. And
You're welcome, sir, and have a blessed night.
have a blessed night as well, my dear.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you. I did not interrupt the lady because, as I said, I'm sure everyone listening would have felt her pain. I felt the pain almost brought me to the tears, but I'll commit to call my representative, who is Minister with responsibility for social development. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, brother Patches. Good night, brother Patches.
Yeah, good night, sir.
I'm listening to this lady speak, and I will empathize with her, and I also empathize with the way you feel. I happen to try to find out about the STEP program, how it works, what is the protocol. And from what I understand, one has to register with the program. And after registration, should they find an employer who is willing to hire them, the employer will have to present their certificate for the business license, with a statement along with some documents that the STEP program had to be filled out and present to the STEP program. I think it's that same lady name who is in charge. From there, they will do an investigation of that business. And if it meets the criteria, then that person, in a matter of time, will be placed on the STEP program for the STEP to pay that individual. From there, if the lady presented 3 different employers who were willing to hire her, then there should not have been a problem to place her on the program. I mean, you see, in St. and perhaps in Nevis, when one has a position, they take that to be theirs. You are public servants. You are there to serve the public. You are there to serve the people. The government is the people, for the people, and from the people. Why that protocol is not being carried out? Because we sit down in a comfortable position and you become judge, jury, and executioner. This is cynical. This is unheard of. Thank you, people. Help each other. I will be glad to go with you, Patches, to sit down and find out what the hell is going on with all these programs. I'm going to elaborate on the steps. I don't know. I can't speak about the PAP, but I will get to understand it. Because if people going out and finding someone who willing to hire them, and the government will intervene by paying that, plus paying their social security, what is the problem? What is the problem? What they want people to do here? Who to make money? When the government is of the people and for the people and should help the people? Come on, man. I hope all these ministers are listening, because I would like to sit down with you all and tell you all what I got to say, because you all are not clear and you all are not empathetic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Well, the difficulty really, I haven't listened to the lady, even if you want to say that there are no positions available on the step, I'm finding even more difficulty. I'm having a difficulty with that, for one, but then I'm even finding it more difficult that she cannot benefit from the PAP. If she has a situation where a young child is in a wheelchair, as she said, and has another child, and the good thing about the lady, she wants to work. She don't want to sit back at home. She wants to work. So I will contact Jeffrey Hanley and seek his intervention, because that can't be correct if we are hearing that. Caller, you live.
Yes, Patches. This is Culture here again. Mr. Welcome, good night. Me and you have the same mind. Now, Patches, I feel just like you and other people, we all feeling the pain of that lady. Patches, according to Mr. Welcome, what they want the woman to go do? Think that she never plan in life to do to survive? Making the woman explain her needs. Her child is in a wheelchair. The woman has had a job with a former minister, and that is plain for anybody to see. It's political vindictiveness they're doing to people. According to who the lady was working with, it wasn't one of theirs. Otherwise, they would not have been doing the woman like that. They have no right to do nobody like how they're treating the woman. Come on. Miss Lady, me culture gonna help you. I'm not working. I am retired. But I can help you in your situation, because I know how you feel, man. Come on, people, man. Have a heart. And I'm gonna give you my number off on the air. I don't care who take it. 466-8163. Call me, and I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna get some help to you, because help is there, and I'm gonna help you. Help your brother if you fall in. Now, Patches, now let me go to something else now. You see, those things that you read out tonight for Born a Boy to come to music festival, you see them thing there? And the cost of that, and the country is in red. That was said by the leader of the country, which is Dr. Joe. Country in red, but where they find them kind of money there to pay Born a Boy? And all those things that he need and he must have when he come here. They say tourism season is over. Yes. But it might be over for the ships that are sailing on the water, but not in the air. Because every week they go on a tour in plane. So tourist season ain't over. And while I'm on the tourist season, today they had the press conference, and the lady who was the guest speaker at the conference, they don't have no conscience in a patch. I mean, they're so lie that when they're talking, they just forget the lie they're telling, but they think they're talking to animal. She said that next year, the largest ship on the water is going to come here, because they have contact with them already to come here to dock up to the pay that labor bill. Well, you never know you are labor Patches. That is the same peer which they had a lot of things to say, call it white elephant, and the peer ain't ripe because the peer, no ship could dock up to the pier, and the pier built in infested infested waters. And now one of them who was saying the pier built in shark infested waters, he gone away. He gone away, Joe. What I want 3 or 4 persons to go we go talk about the same thing. They're wasting the money what they make there. Dr. Harry said he got the O. So none of them could say bingo. You have to have the O to say bingo. And that is why they operate like this. Gani, they go waste money. Taking up no money wasting, and where the money is supposed to be spent is to help people. Help people like the lady. Come on, people. You get some heart. Now Jamaica. When Jamaica have the sun splash, it's all Jamaicans there performing. And everybody enjoy it. But why they must bring in Bono Boy? What happened to our local people them here? When they got Juve morning, is our local people them jump up the street? Well, why do you think local people ain't gonna come to the music festival? Eh? And they hear what Bono Boy want, and they're gonna get them to him, you know. Anyway, Patrick, brother, let me give somebody another chance. Miss Lady, call culture. Me gonna help you. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Thank you very much as well. You know, that call has really changed everything on this program tonight, and I've got a message for the lady who called as well. You can call me because a gentleman, I believe it's a gentleman who has, his message reads, Patches, please ask the lady to call back and give her my number. Please, I can give her a job, but I can give her a little cash. And he left that number with me, and so it's really touching how it works here on Straight Talk. So yes, I do have that number for the lady who called, and I'll go to the lines. Forgive me, call. I did in fact press the wrong button. A little bit disoriented from the call that has really touched, I believe, everyone who heard it. Call you live.
Hi, Patrice. Good night.
Good night, my dear.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good. My heart goes out to that lady with a child. The disabled children is supposed to be the government concern. Government supposed to be concerned about the disabled people them and the elderly. This girl have a child in a wheelchair. They going up and down. Now they're supposed to bring in this artist, and I hear say he want this and he want that. What the child will be eating? Come on, A single mother with a child, you know when a child is disabled, come on, I don't even know, out of words, to be truthful, because I have been around them. Come on, she asked for a job. You have the child in a wheelchair, a disabled child. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. And you're going to tell me that every time she go, they're going to tell her they don't have nowhere to place her, they don't know she have a disabled child? That is the concern. And the Prime Minister going to hang up on her? Please. Come on. What are you sending out? What message you sending out to them? This is the first minute that the girl call and go tell them about the child. That is the first concern. My heart goes out for her. I could imagine how she feel. And when they have security guard all over, I must ask, did Mr. Douglas had so many security guard? I never know the ministers does have security guard. I know the Prime Minister do have security guard. I could be wrong. I know Douglas had one in his belong by his house and one with him. That only 2 he had. I don't know if he have so many security guard, child and all. He child and all has security guard. So what? What he do so that you have to say how secure your child? Well, who can interfere your child? That's an innocent child. He's the only Prime Minister ever have a child. To say how security guard up and now with the thing. For the government to pay that taxpayers' money to pay all them kind of nonsense. One time I saw Mr. Batcher walk from which part his wife was store, went down to Massey so without a guard. Without a guard. And I sure Dougie them used to walk up and now without a guard. What happened to him? What's so sweetie? What's so sweetie? I hope they hear the girl cry and they look after that. I look after her because the Bible says, suffer little children to come unto me and forbid them not. Anyway, Patrice, you have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear. Thanks for your intervention. And I misspoke just now. The message is really should read, I cannot give you a job, but I can give you some cash. I cannot give you a job, but I can give a little cash. Read this message. I'll get the number to the lady I promised, my Straight Dog family. But yes, there must be some way, even under the social development program to provide assistance to that challenged child. I don't like to use the word disabled, but we know what you mean. But yes, my Stray Dog family, there ought to be some way to deal with that as well. And this message reads, Patches, good evening. This is stuff from... I'm sorry, I have this caller on hold for some time. Caller, forgive me. Are you there still? Hello, caller?
Yes. Good night, Mr. Leiber.
I'm awfully sorry about that. I had you on hold for
no problem, Mr. Leiber. Mr. Leiber,
I'm sorry about that, sir.
Yeah. I feel it, the lady pain. I feel it. Water coming out of my eyes.
Yes.
The way how they're treating that lady, even though she child is in a wheelchair, and she carry letters and they take off the step, and what happened? The one they want to do, go and do what she don't want to do. They said they are for the people, and what happened? They have been making all the retirees and in a big job. The lady wants a job. Yeah, she look out for the woman who's in a turmoil. I have to call her a turmoil because she cannot help herself. And she needs help. And the government is there to help people, not to ignore people, hang up on people as a prime minister. It is a shame. Look to what this country comes to now. That people have to call in and express the feeling of what they are suffering today in this country. People give Labour a chance to go in Harvard, and this is the not about people are getting. It is a shame, Mr. Labour. I feel the woman pain. There's a lot of young girls in that night want to work and cannot get any, and they're not seeing the representative in that night. And they're taking up all the retirees who get in double salary, who get in this, and who get in that, giving a big job about advisors. The woman could be an advisor too, to help her business, to help herself. So I feel it with that young lady. I do not know who she is. And if you imagine in culture would give out his number to tell her, call him, and the gentleman, other people is calling to express the feeling for what the lady is speaking about. It hurts this federation, and it's time for the Attorney General to get out of office. And that is what I'm speaking about. Attorney General do not go. This country is going to be in downfall. He needs to go to office, and the Prime Minister is who have him there doing a lot of wrong. people in this federation need to take a march in Church Street and tell them enough is enough. Because the woman is hurt. And everybody in this country is hurt. I'm hurt. So have a pleasant night. And I hope people all over the world hearing what's going on in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. Labour.
Thank you very much for your intervention as well. That lady before I made a point about the government's responsibility, but you know, children, whether they're young children, adolescents, or even adults but let's focus on the children in particular. They must enjoy their rights. Children with disabilities have rights, and nothing should be done to deprive them of such rights. And what that lady said tonight is nothing but downright discrimination. In my country, I don't believe that. I mean, what she said about the Prime Minister, Jew, I'm not saying she's a liar, but it's hard to believe that he would treat a lady like that, knowing her situation. Even her representative, Congress Maynard, they ought to bow their heads in shame to discriminate against a woman, irrespective of her allegiance, political allegiance, or any other allegiance. She is a citizen of the country and must be treated accordingly. This message reads, my Straight Dog family, Patches, good evening. This is stuff you cannot make up. Miss Marsha told us today, Music Festival 2023 will make Woodstock look like a Sunday school outing. Patches, this music festival is going to be our first ganja music festival. Then we're going into ganja tourism. Wait for it. They're waiting on that Garth to put the legal jargon on it, Patches. You do not take your case to the criminal. You take the criminal to court. God help us when they're done with us. Well, it is the new way and a new day motto reads this email. This other email reads, I listened to Win FM Bush Tea show this morning with a Labour paid propagandist as host, making feeble excuses for Dr. Jew and the Labour Party failed election promises. Yes, man, be a man and keep your promises. You vehemently said you were going to raise the PAP to $1,500 after Harris, a man of his word, said he was going to increase it to $1,000. Harris certainly would have done it. Don't come to us with your foolish excuse to say that because of the corruption they found in government, they can't pay it. Long ago, before the election, you all were accusing Team Unity of corruption. So if any truth was in it, why make your empty promises just to fool the voter for you to win by default? What a shame, reads this other email. This email reads, Patches, where is Garth? Is there a muzzle on his mouth? No. Imagine he refused to pay his Social Security payments, broke the law, but wanted to lock up young men for smoking marijuana. Many more of the government members will be embarrassed because they forget they have a minority government and they will not be in there forever. The next one will fall on their mouth is Clark and Jeffrey, reads this other email. My Straight Talk family, it is 9:51. It is 9 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. And we normally wind down at 10 o'clock. We had to digress as a consequence of that call from a lady who is in pain. And under labor, it seems as if under this labor, under Jew, it seems that we are going to suffer, and just suffer more and more. And my Shredlock family, it is saddening when you think of what's happening in the country, and when you think of those who are leading us. We tend to wonder where on earth and where the hell is this country being taken. Especially, like I said, there is no opposition in the parliament, or the opposition in parliament is so dysfunctional that you wonder if they are going to make a difference. Because my Straight Talk family, every democracy requires an opposition. An opposition is very important. It's of maximum importance. Because an opposition in parliament is not only important, it is necessary and indispensable. An indispensable component of democracy. For it to be effective, however, the government and society at large must accept the essentials of democracy. I'll perhaps take two more calls before I wrap tonight. I'll make this my penultimate call. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Okay, let's take this call and caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Hello, Patrick. Good night.
Good night, my brother. How art thou?
Boy, I'm fine. Boy, yesterday the whole largest ship docked right in Bastille, and the pier ain't got no hole no more. the pier ain't got no hole no more, Patches. Oh boy, God bless you and Timothy for keeping us in the door. Patches, I wanna talk about the tourist industry, because you know we're down to the last of the tourist industry, and we're here in the itinerary for the half season, so that is a concern. We want to know what the tourist department is doing, because we're just supposed to done hearing something concerning the half season, you know, and that is a big concern. So, Patches, I asking the people them to support Mr. Harris breakfast on Saturday. Timothy ain't do nobody nothing, you know. And Timothy born here. You understand? People got to understand that that man has given us a new thinking. A lot of men thought that the job was easy, you know. You understand what I'm telling you, Patrick? A lot of these guys thought that the job was easy. The CIA were performing, they thought it was easy. So you see, man head hot them right now. The constituency, the constituent saying that man change numbers and them. You understand? And this is a concern around the country right now. The constituents them is arguing saying that when they call a representative, they can't get them. They can't find him. Patrick, you have a good night and keep that show coming to give us the voice, because we have to be heard in this country. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Jam down. I heard the Minister of Tourism made some comments as well about the peer and what Labour did and so on. I also heard the minister speak to the apron parking at the airport. And, you know, it's rather unfortunate that this government seemed to be driving this vehicle by looking in the rearview mirror. They're stuck in the past. They're stuck in the last 7 years, you know. But truth be told, when we got into office in 2015, and I was assigned the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Post, Urban Development, and Transport, and that captured the SCASPA, for example. After a Labour government that was in office for 20 years, we got a letter from the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority recommending that there should be no landings at the airport of aircraft over 66,000 pounds. That was the state of the runway which the team Unity Administration inherited. There was a subsequent letter, if the minister should ask for the records, a subsequent letter from ECA, the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, recommended again that there should be no night landings at the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Airport. That was the result of the lack of maintenance. The Board of Authority under Congress Maynard's father, controller, they spoke about profit, you know, operational profit. But they sacrificed the maintenance of these assets and equipment to make the port or SCASPA look as if it was profitable. Well, we didn't say that Labour was in office for 20 years and we started to bellyache. No. As a minister, we went out and we got loans. I instructed the board to do something about it. At one stage, I refused to pay a bonus for the authority because they had the profit. And one director resigned. I won't call her name. Because the government didn't pay a double bonus. So why SCASPA should pay a double bonus when the equipment were not functional? The airport runway was in disarray. I mean, potholes on the airport itself. No lighting. And we went ahead and we resurfaced the entire runway. Right now, there are airport lighting, solar airport lighting, modern solar lighting on the airport. We fixed all the taxiways. The taxiway Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Remember, those airlines could not use the connecting taxiway to get to the runway. Under Team Unity, those were repaired. Half of the apron parking was done. Then came COVID. We got a loan from the Social Security to fix the entire apron. So when you hear the minister talking today, you know, it's really sad. I would just suggest to the minister, do what you have to do. The apron parking needs repairs, repair it. And stop bellyaching about that's what you meant. What you meant, that's why we elected you. We elected you because you can do better, then do better. And stop bellyaching. We went and we met an Island Main Road with potholes. You forgot it. Which was song about pothole dodging? I think, was it Slim or Reggie? Pothole dodging. We didn't bellyache. As a matter of fact, as the Shadow Minister of Public Infrastructure, I committed before being elected to fix those potholes and resurface the entire Island Main Road. The next step was to deal with the secondary roads. And if the current minister knows anything about government, and he thinks he's fooling people, he's fooling himself. Because if he had any inkling and any thought at all about fixing these secondary roads, why didn't he put that in his budget for 2023? Do not let them fool you, my straight dog family. They must do what they have to do. I won't talk about the new pay anymore. It took Douglas 20 years to build a pier, and he did not. As a matter of fact, the pier number 1 is not his pier, you know. I will share that pier between Simmons and Douglas. I was at the Port Authority when we commissioned that pier in 1996. It did not start in 1996. It started under Douglas, under Simmons, beg your pardon. That first pier at Port Zante. But I sometimes don't even worry about them, you know. I just stand on my truth. Sometimes you hear people lie, just ignore them. Ignore them. Because they are now required by the people in this country to deliver, and they are not delivering. No electricity, reads this email. No water. No peace. No pap. No jobs. No anesthesia at the hospital. No dialysis treatment. No toilet paper. No money in people's pockets. Nothing doing in the country. No Labour government after the next elections, reads this email. And I'll take one final email, or there are two, in fact. Patches, good night. I cannot believe. How are you? I do not listen to your program at times, but I not call in or email. However, tonight, just by listening to that precious lady who bravely called to vent about the kind of treatment that has been repeatedly dished out to her, it is heartbreaking at worst. I cannot believe this is what's happening to our people. Really? Are we serious? What if the shoes of that lady were on the foot of those she have mentioned? Would they have would they have liked, beg your pardon, to be dealt with such blatant disrespect, disregard, unfair, inhumane, and heartless treatment? What bothers me even more is the fact that this lady has a sick child that all of them know about, and yet they still do not care. The people of our federation need to rally behind this lady and others who've been victimized, neglected, rejected, and abused by this uncaring Labour government, and send the kangaroo government to go seek employment elsewhere, like farming or cannery disposal site. The stench of this Labour government is unbearable now. I am deeply hurting. Tears flowed from my eyes as I listened in total shock and amazement. Patches, I beg of you, please help this precious woman. A caring citizen read this email. And yes, tears almost came to my eyes as well. Pleasant good night, sir. I'm a Kittian national living in Dominica. I long to come back home, but my stars are not yet aligned with those desires. I have been following the dirty saga with Attorney General Wilkin and was wondering why you think he's refusing to do the just and honorable thing, which is just to resign. How can he think he is fit and proper? He is a fit and proper person to hold public office, reads that email. I take my final email, which reads, my straight dog family. Good night. The tourism department announced some ship for the off-season, but they don't want it to go public. They know what they're hiding, reads that email. And that's where we're going to end it, my straight dog family, with the emails and our calls. But we had to more or less digress, and that's understandable. We were speaking about the opposition in Parliament and its the necessary work it has to do. We spoke of the primary function of the opposition, which is to offer a credible alternative to the majority in power. My Straight Talk family, we also spoke about the necessity or the expectation that there would be intergovernmental relations between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration. And one would expect that the Prime Minister and the Premier would be in regular and direct contact on issues of national significance, and those functions not devolve to the Nevis Island Assembly, such as security, safety, policing, and law and order. But that's why I submit that the late Premier Vance Winkworth Emery yielded the position of the leader of the opposition to the late Malcolm Gishard. When Malcolm Gishard died in 2007, Premier Emery yielded the position to the same Mark Brantley. But in 2022, Brantley is now the Premier, and he grabs the position of leader of opposition. Yet, he said he supported Sean Richards. He supported Sean Richards for Prime Minister. He said that, my Straight Dog family.
I have had discussions with the Honorable Sean Richards. We would have undertaken this last election as a one movement construct. We had committed that the Honorable Sean Richards would be supported as Prime Minister. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
So if he was supporting Sean Richards for Prime Minister, why couldn't he support Sean Richards as leader of the opposition? Many have asked the question. Although he's given the impression that he was just sent an instrument of appointment and he had to take it. Nonsense. Whether he wants to accept it or not, I submit that with a Mark Brantley around in particular, until we amend this PAM NRP political expedient constitution, nothing will change. My Straight Dog family, why would he want to be the leader of the opposition in a St. Kitts parliament? It's called the St. Kitts Nevis Assembly. Why? Because the estimates, for example, when they are discussed or when they were discussed in December, there's nothing, absolutely nothing in there for Nevis. Is to run the government of St. Kitts. The estimates approved in the federal parliament or the National Assembly seek authorization to spend money on St. Kitts, save and except for security or foreign affairs that relates to Nevis. Brantley, as leader of the opposition, has no interest whatsoever, as I said earlier, about the construction of the Barcy High School. No interest in building houses for poor people here in St. Kitts. No interest in a reliable water supply in St. Kitts. My Straight Dog family. And as I said, he tried to appropriate for Nevis the desalination plan from the United Arab Emirates, which was destined for St. Kitts. To avoid embarrassment, I called the ministry or minister, colleague minister then in the UAE, and convinced them to have two desalination plants, one in Nevis, one in St. Kitts. That's what took them so long to come by. Geothermal is here now. And all of a sudden, geothermal is a national asset. Since when and how? And the minister said any resources that are present in Nevis will be included in our federal resources. How does that work? Does it work so? The Caribbean Development Bank or the International Development Bank demanded a guarantee from the federal government for the NIA loan of US $60 million for the drilling and production wells on Nevis. As you at any time did any appropriation for that. Caller, I'm really out of time, but I'm going to give you 20
Hello?
seconds. I'm really out of time, but I'm going to give you some 20 seconds. Can you use it, or 30 seconds?
Hello, is there anyone there?
Yes, you're live. You're live, my brother. You're calling from the UK.
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, I can hear you now. Am I on the program?
Yes, you're live. You're live. I'm winding up, but I saw the overseas call, so I took it.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Liebert. I was listening to your program, but I missed it because I couldn't listen to it for too long. It sounds so, unfair to someone who's suffering like a disabled child, and that's not good. I'm calling from the UK at the moment because bedtime is after 3 o'clock my time, and I just couldn't stop listening to the program. Anyway, I've texted you and I'll leave a telephone number so you can pass it on to the young lady and ask her to give me a call, because this is not right. Something has to be done because she's suffering, man. As you said, you feel her pains, man.
Yes.
When she speaks about the disabled child, and it's not right. So we have to do something about it until she gets some form of assistance from the government. Government's supposed to look after the people. Do you know in the Bible, Malachi 3:10, 8 and 10, you pay 1/10 of your earnings or your 1/10 of your possession to the government. You know what who the government was at the time? The Leviticus priesthood. They was the government. He used to look after the sick, the orphan, the widows, and everybody. So people used to pay 1/10 of their possession to the Leviticus priesthood. And governments receive people's taxes. And when a disabled child need assistance, they have no time for them. No, something wrong there. Anyway, Mr. Liebert, I'll text you and give you my number. And
Did you text this telephone, the same telephone you're calling on?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I'll look at it and pass it on.
So look it up and pass it on to that young lady, and she should get some form of assistance from us.
Okay.
All right.
I will. And thanks for calling. Thanks for staying up in the morning to listen to the program. Thanks a lot.
I'm telling you, I was asleep, and then I'll just turn on my tablets and see your program come up, and I was listening to it, and I thought, well, God, man, what I'm hearing here, this is not nature. This is not human-like.
No, it's not.
This is inhumane. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
Inhumane. And I just can't stand to hear something like this happen to someone. So I ask you, please,
I will.
pass my number on to her.
I will.
Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
My brother.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the way we're going to end it, my Straight Talk family. I'm out of time, but I saw that overseas number. Actually, someone from the United Kingdom, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning there, I think it is, and they're up. And that gentleman, like all of us, I'm sure, who heard that lady tonight, were touched. I tried to fight back my tears when you heard of this. Not just the lady, but the discrimination. In addition to her pain, it was the discrimination against a child with a disability. And that cannot be right, my Straight Dog family. We have to change everything we did tonight. But we're also going to change. And as I leave you, I must say, 2 constitutional assemblies, but 1 ornamental opposition leader, and a government misfit for the role that they are expected to play. a government that should be of the people, for the people, and by the people. But a government that mistreats, ill-treats the people. And not just a government, a labor government. Who would believe that? I myself can't. That's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I am not going to change it. What a sad way to go into the weekend with a sad story from a woman who obviously needs help. Let's help her. My Street Dog family, my time is done. I'm gonna run. We will connect on Monday for another edition of Street Talk. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Think about people who are in need. I give up half of my salary, and some people try to make an issue about it. But I gave up half of my salary when I was campaigning in my own community where I was born, raised, and live. I was shocked when I walked through the alleys in Newtown and I saw the way some people were living. I had to help, and I did. Let's help this lady. I will help her as well. I will touch base with her tomorrow and pass all the messages to her. But whatever your mind conceive, my Straight Dog family, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday for another edition of Street Talk, keep moving on. My Street Talk family.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for